Hey, what's going on, guys? I just got my new Flexzilla hose in and I wanted to do a very brief video just to explain why I'm so excited to have added this one to my lawn care arsenal. If you're familiar with the Flexzilla products, you'll know that they advertise themselves as kink-free, basically maintenance-free, and I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, I have two other Flexzilla hoses, not quite this length, and I have never had any issue with the quality or the craftsmanship that they provide. I haven't ran into any leaks, any tears, any bends in the line. The kink-free function that they do advertise, I think that's pretty tried and true on my part. I mean, if you follow the instructions that are on the packaging and you extend the hose as far as it goes before you turn on that water pressure and you allow the hose itself to fill up with water, you're not going to run into those kinks. I have had kinks myself, but for the most part, I think that's a user error because there'll be a pre-bend in the line before I turn on the water pressure. So once that water starts flowing, it just contributes to that kink and it makes it harder to get it out of there. If you keep an eye out for that, these hoses are going to be fantastic. Like I mentioned, I had two 50 footers that I was working with, and even though I have no complaints when it comes to those, it definitely left a little bit to be desired when it came to the length. This guy, on the other hand, is 100 feet, and I think it's going to be a game changer when it comes to some of that maintenance that I have coming up, especially because I'm anticipating doing an overseeding in the fall. Part of that reason being why I was in the market for a longer hose, because I noticed when I actually reseeded my lawn last fall, it would have absolutely came in handy. So I wanted to make sure that I had this on hand for once the temperatures cool down and I can get out there and tackle that overseeding. I apologize. One more thing that I wanted to point out to you that I feel is super handy to have, regardless of whether you go with a Flexzilla hose or any other type of hose, is Flexzilla also has this coupler set that they sell. And even though I'm sure they prefer you to include it with that Flexzilla hose, if you have any hose that has a 3/4 inch ends, these things are going to work with it. And those other 50 footers that I have from Flexzilla have these guys built in, and they have been fantastic for me. They've saved me so much time, so much frustration when it comes to attaching or removing all sorts of things, whether it's oscillating sprinklers, nozzles, etc. It makes it so quick, so efficient that you don't hate the idea of being able to switch from one item to the other, especially with a hose of this length, having to run back to the water spigot, turn off the water, release the pressure, etc. They come in super handy. You'll see here that there's a male fitting here. And the way that these work is you just press them when you want to attach or remove the other end to whatever you have connected. This one is the female version, and you'll see that this guy actually has a stopper that's built in. And that's the game changer, if you ask me. Because if you put this guy on the end that's closest to your hand, you can remove, you can attach all sorts of things without that water just gushing out by the gallon per minute. It stops the water flow completely. So you can switch out those attachments that you're working with so much ease. Let me see if I can give you a quick idea in regards to how this works. This is the end that goes connected to the water spigot. And then they also include a couple of these guys that you can attach right to the end of those nozzles, those oscillating sprinklers, whatever you can imagine. They twist right on. I haven't had many leaks with them. I'm sure the seal that goes on the other end of whatever you're attaching will have something to do with that. So you want to make sure that that's covered. But if that is, then you are all set. So for instance, this guy that goes onto the water spigot, you would just screw him right on. And then you would get this guy that's already connected. Once it's already connected to your hose, boom. There you go. It's connected within 1 second. When you're ready to remove the hose, you release the pressure, etc. You just push this guy in, and there it is. This one, like I mentioned, is the one with the stopper. So I usually like to have this one closest to my hand. That way, if I need to switch something out, if I need to remove it, because I want the full water pressure, it makes it very convenient to have that on hand. If you're in the market for a hose, for something that makes that attachment removal and installation a little bit easier, I highly recommend that you look into some sort of set that resembles something that I'm showing here. I'll try to put some links on this video to show you what it is that you're looking for when it comes to these items. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away and I will get to them as soon as possible. Thanks, guys.